sleepy dog. Oh, you okay? It's okay. I'm sorry to wake you. What you doing, buddy? Hey. What you doing? Hey, sorry. Did I wake you? You were taking a good nap, weren't you? He's a big baby. Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm gonna be doing another job today. This one's just gonna be pine straw. This is gonna be the demonstration part. Okay, I'm just gonna focus just on this front bed right here and kind of give you an idea, and I'm gonna probably time lapse the rest of it. The first thing you need to do, okay, I'm gonna bring the camera over here. Whether you're a landscaper like me or just a homeowner trying to figure out how many bales are going to cover something, okay, so you got two types of bales. You've got a square bale that you see right here, and then you got a round bale, or a roll of pine straw. And a square bale is pretty much like you see, it's, you know, rectangular shape, very simple to break apart, just got strings holding it, and then it's, if you notice inside, the way the pine straw is pressed in, it's in like small sections, so it's easy to just, you know, for somebody trying to figure it out how to spread it and break it apart. Round, you know, it's rolled up in a machine where this is pressed in. Rolls, you got medium, and then you got some extra large. So a roll typically is 2 bales to 2.5 times bales of coverage of a square bale. Okay, so to give you an idea, now I'm going to try to put all this on a screen too. So a roll or a round bale of straw equals 2 of these square bales. Okay, and whether you are a landscaper starting off or a homeowner just trying to figure out how many square footage or how many bales or rolls you're going to need of the pine straw, I've got to do a little bit of math, and very simple stuff. I'm gonna put this on the screen too. A typical square bale covers about 35 to 45 square feet. Okay, and that's if you apply it about 3 inches. Okay, when I do these beds, okay, or do mine, I typically overshoot it. I'm usually around the 5-inch mark, so I like to really lay my stuff at least 30% to 40% thicker than what is recommended, and reason being is it's going to look a lot better. Okay, and I'm going to show you some differences in, you know, what 3 inches, and I'm going to try to get you an idea of what 5 inches looks like. Okay, of course, you know, if you can do more pine straw, do it if you have the budget to do it, but you know, sometimes, you know, you got to watch what you spend. We're not going to get into details of how much this job costs and the breakdown of it. This is just how to do it if you're trying to do it yourself, or a new landscaper trying to figure out how to do it correctly. Okay, and I'm going to show you some tips on it. If you look in this bed, I have pine straw this before, but it's been about maybe 2.5 years since I've done it, so there's very, very limited left over. It had overgrown. We had to cut it back. You saw in the previous videos of how bad this was overgrown. Okay, so you can kind of see some of the old straw in here. Typically, if you have a bed that already had straw on it, you can add more straw on top. You don't have to rip out your old straw if you don't want to. About every 2, well, I'd say every about 3, maybe 4 applications of straw, and typically folks will do them in the fall and in the spring of each year. Sometimes more, sometimes less, depends on their budget. You can kind of get away with not having to take it all the way out. I don't like taking out the old straw, A, because it leaves a buffer. Now, if you notice in here, this has the landscape fabric on it. And one thing that I highly despise of, and I probably should have just ripped all this out. I don't believe in the landscape fabric. And the reason being, A, because as the material, whether it's mulch or pine straw, is going to break down, it's going to become dirt, and you're going to get grass seed growing on top of the fabric. I believe in applying more of the material, whether it's mulch or pine straw in this application. That typically, if you do it thick enough, it will give you a really good barrier, especially if you do it regularly. And that keeps your weeds from popping out. You're going to have to come back every now and then and do a little bit of bed maintenance, whether you pull it or take a string trimmer or clean it up a little bit. Some of you may, spray, if you're a landscaper and you have the license to do the, I went blank, hold on. If you're a new landscaper and you have the license to do, herbicide, and spray for, invasive weeds, you can do that. You don't want to, kill your plants and stuff, so you got to be very, very selective of where you spray, but that gets in a whole different aspect. So we're just kind of keeping the basics on this and just kind of talking about how to apply it. Okay, so the first thing I did is I kind of cleaned up some of the last little bits. If you're gonna cut your shrubbery, your bushes and stuff, go ahead and do it now. Okay, get all your clippings out of the beds. You can leave a little bit of leaves and stuff. You're going to cover it up. It's going to be it's going to decay over time anyway, and just build the bed, topsoil a lot better. So I'm going to pull out some of these old potted shrubs, and we're just going to kind of start with this portion. So anyway, we'll go from here. I'm going to quit talking. And the horse is looking at me. Say, hey, horsey. Hey, horsey. Horsey has his view. Okay. So. So if I had shrubs and I had put the straw down, had to come back and cut the shrubs, all that clippings is going to get on that new straw, and it just looks really bad to try to pick it out. You can do that, avoid having the clippings in it by getting some tarps and stuff to put around the shrubs. It just takes a little bit more time, but efficiently to do it efficiently and not have to have extra steps. Doing it like this is the best way. I'm gonna kind of go back to talk about the bales and coverage. So to talk about the coverage of the square bales, a typical square bale covers 35 to 45 square feet per bale. A round bale is about 2 to 2.5 times the material of a square bale, so multiply that by 2 to 2.5, so you're going to be right at 70 to 90, maybe 130 square feet per roll, depending on how big the roll is. So rolls cover a lot more. They're a little bit and it's all about preference and what you can get. To me, I like square bales. They're just easier to maintain and handle quicker to me, but that's what I've been using. Sometimes I will use a roll, just depends on what's available. But so anyway, back to work. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bale apart by taking the string off. I'll pull it apart. You can cut it with a knife or whatnot. Take your strings that you get and put them off to the side. Make sure you collect them later. You don't want to leave them in your yard so your mower can get to them. But I'll take a couple like chunks and stuff, and what I will do is I'll start from the back of the bed and work my way to the front. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. As I take these little flats, I'm breaking them apart and shaking them and really kind of getting fluffy. It's giving it more of a natural, it's going to give it more of a natural look when everything's done and said and you tuck it and everything. That and you get more coverage too. Okay, it's going to be really hard to kind of tell on this camera, but I'm going to try to use some diagrams with my hands. Okay, so if you notice, from here to about where the corner is, it's actually a lot thicker. We're looking about 5 inches. Where from here to the end of the bed where my hand ends, it's a lot thinner. It's, you know, about 2 to 3 inches. That's the typical coverage on it. But even though it's thinned out, you know, when this pine straw lays down, okay, and this will happen like in rain and stuff like that, it's really fluffy. The rain is going to push down the pine straw and lay it a little bit more flatter. If I had it less, you know, at the 2 to 3 inches, it's going to be really thin, and it doesn't look good to me. So that's why I go ahead and just put at least 5 inches worth of material on there. And typically where a square bale, let's say, is covering, you know, 35 to 45 square feet, I'm really using a bale to cover maybe 20 to 25 square feet. So I'm trying to use up more of the bale to get a thicker and better look. Does it make sense? You'll see and understand at the end result of it. But I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to fix this little area. All right, so I'm gonna take you again. I'm gonna show you something else. you notice that the edge of the bed is, you know, outlined by these rocks. I have taken the straw and gone past where the edge of the bed is, and there's a reason behind it. When I come back and I'll show you and I blow, I'm going to tuck and roll all that up to the edge, and what it'll do is it'll give a nice full look, and give a nice little roll, have that extra material in there as well. If I did it up to here, I would roll it and it would be ended up being, you know, 2 to 3 inches, you know, inside the bed line. So little tricks and tips, and I'll show you how to do that. Let me move you over here. Okay, so there you have it. This is kind of your initial, you know, drop. When you're doing the pine straw, there's a couple things you need to look for. Consistencies in it. You want it really clean looking. Any trash as far as like debris, sand, leaves. Sometimes the pine, when the machines are picking it up from, you know, their initial pickup place, you know, you'll get a lot of sticks and stuff like that. You want to make sure that all that stuff's out, and just leave like a really clean look. You don't want any, like, say, trash and junk in it. And then make sure your entire area has a good consistency and coverage. You do want it to look as natural as in, you know, how this pine straw laid out if it was in a forest, you know what I'm saying? You want it to be clean and good looking and not everywhere. That being said, we're going to go into the next phase. We're just doing this section. I'm really going to just talk about this section and do the demonstration on it, and then I'll probably, the rest of it's going to time lapse it so you don't have to sit there and listen to me talk. I may put some background music in it, but we are going to blow this and tuck and roll. If you do not have a backpack blower like mine, a battery powered one, or a small plug-in one, or a small handheld blower of some sort, will do just as fine. Of course, the bigger blackback blowers have a little bit more oomph in air volume, so they can kind of give the roll a little bit better, but you can do the same thing. It just takes a little bit more time. If you don't have any of those, you can use a rake and do it by hand. It will take you a little bit longer to do it, but the after effect is what you're trying to get, and that's that clean roll look and kind of outline the actual bed itself. So that's the next part. Okay. So I'm gonna try to do this. Actually, I'm gonna take the camera off real quick. We're gonna go remote. I want you to kind of look at this, and I'm gonna sit down on the ground and come. And you can kind of look. This is, you know, when you blow it up, it's gonna lift it up a lot higher. But when you're looking at it, and if you're looking at it, you know, at ground level, you're looking almost, you know, 10 to 12 inches of material, and it's just built it up really fluffy. So when it does settle and rain, there's going to be enough material to cover in there, and it'll help, you know, give that even look, what you're trying to achieve. Plus, you know, it does make it look great. But I still only used in this whole thing, you know, roughly about 5.5 bales worth of pine straw. Now, as you notice, when I was blowing, I kind of went lightly and just kind of did my first pass, kind of get, you know, most of it kind of back into it. And then I came back again and did that roll and then cleaned it up on the third pass. And sometimes you'll get something like this where, you know, you push back. So I was a little bit, you know, weak as far as my overlap, you know, pine straw where I needed to be. And that's really simple. Just kind of, you know, I'm kind of pushing it, kind of push it back to where you need it to, you know. I do recommend kind of pushing it down a little bit. It just helps the, keeps it from getting caught by the wind, especially, oops, almost lost you, especially if you have a really windy day. If you're trying to put pine straw down in a windy day, if you have water access, as soon as you get a section down, go ahead and spray it, wet that material. It will kind of help, not necessarily seed it all the way down, but help kind of control it a little bit, so you don't have like areas blowing in the wind, because, you know, you don't want to waste your time trying to get material down. So, but I will come back and then just clean up this edge on this window sill. But I'm just gonna let you kind of get a good view of all this, okay? So any little trash, I like to get these leaves out of there. So you see how it was fluffy, and when I stepped down on it, I mean, it pushed down, but you still have really good coverage. It's still really thick. You're not going to see the ground underneath it, and that's what the most important thing when doing this. So enough talking and stuff like that. Tell me in the comments how you think this job came out, or how you think this looks, if this was professional or the way you would do it. Like I said, everybody's different. And this is all about learning, you know, whether it's for me or for somebody watching this video. So I'm going to continue on. So
the city lights and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home. 'Cause up here it's breakneck, paycheck, rat race, what's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. My friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, and you can keep your 9 to 5. Happy with the simple life. Yeah, I ain't here to try to change your mind, trying to save your time. In case you're thinking about breaking out the bucket list, girl, you can skip this funny business. 'Cause up there it's complicated and overrated. Down here everything is understated. That's alright by me. I got everything that I need, but there is breakneck, paycheck, rat race, what's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. All my friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Yeah, and you can keep your 9 to 5, 'cause I'm happy with the simple life. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knew my name, and all my friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, you can keep your 9 to 5, 'cause I'm happy with the simple life. Oh Lord, you can keep your 9 to 5.
All right, guys, I'm going to give you the final tour of the finished product. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was, help you gain a little bit of knowledge of stuff. That's what I'm trying to do. Showcase good quality work. But here's some after shots of the finished product. So we'll see you on the next video.
Man, I always had stories about the city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home. Cause up here it's breakneck, paycheck, rat race, what's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. My friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, and you can keep your 9 to 5, happy with the simple life. Yeah, I ain't here to try to change your mind, trying to save your time, in case you're thinking about breaking out the bucket list. Girl, you can skip this.